Yo, what's up? It's okay. We tapping in. Let's go. So I wanted to speak about something that I've been thinking about a little bit lately. It's something that has definitely been like a massive focal point for me throughout my life. And I guess that the topic is like your fears and your anxieties and whatever things that are like holding us back. For me, like my anxieties and my fears or my perception towards things has like crippled me my whole life. And so over the last few years, I've like made it a point for me to like to overcome as many of those as I can. And one fear that like in particular that has like that I've come so far in is cold water. Now, believe it or not, I used to be shit scared of cold water. Honestly, like genuinely, there was no dollar amount. You could not pay me enough to enter a cold shower or to get into if I was in a group with a group of people and we were going swimming, I would get in purely because of the fact that I did not want to miss out in having fun, you know what I mean? But like the process of me getting into the water to begin with was a whole other thing, right? It would take me 20 minutes, and that's no exaggeration, right? To get into the water, I would start by getting my ankles wet, and then from there I'd go to get my shins wet, and then I go up to my knees and so on and so forth. And that was a very, very long process. And then, and like again, when I was in a group of people, uh, just purely the fact of me being with these people would get me into the water very reluctantly. However, once I was in the water and I felt that I had satisfied the need or the desire to what's it called to socialize, have fun, whatever, I'd be in the water for 5 minutes and I'd be out of there because it was too cold for me. I couldn't enjoy it. And so for me, cold water that was my thing. I had to overcome that. And so I said to myself, I got to overcome this fear. How do I do that? And what do I do? Like you touch water every day by having a shower. And so that would be the easiest way for me to overcome that. And up until that point, I had never had a cold shower in my life. Never had a cold shower in my life. And so what I decided to do was the last 30 seconds of my shower, I would turn the water cold, turn off the hot water, turn it cold, and sit in there. And like I did not enjoy it for the first month. Hated every second of it. I'd be shivering, and I wanted it to be over. But after that month, it slowly became easier, and slowly became easier. And once I was comfortable doing 30 seconds, then I increased that to a minute, so on and so forth. It just continued to increase that. And over the last year, I'd say it's gotten to the point where now, so I made a challenge to myself. I think it was 7 weeks ago, roughly 7 weeks ago, that I was to not have any more hot showers. And so for 7 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks now, I have not had a single hot shower. I've had strictly cold showers. So all of my showers, I get home from work 2 a.m. some days, and 2:30 a.m. And some days I want to have a shower. And I can tell you this right now, there was not a single one of those days where I have happily, happily been all jolly and got myself into the water, because like there's nothing that's fun about that. Having a cold shower at 2 a.m., 2:30 a.m., whatever it is, you know what I mean? And so for me now, the struggle is the initial part. So going from dry to wet, that is the struggle now, because once I'm in the shower and once my body is wet and saturated with cold water, then it's fine. But the cold shower, the getting myself into the cold shower, that's the struggle now. And so that's something I'm trying to overcome. And by doing it every day, this may take a year, it may take 3 months, it may take 4 months. I don't know, it may take 2 years, it may take 10 years. You know what I mean? But my goal is to do it for as long as it takes to get to the point where it's no longer a thing that is hindering me in any way, shape, or form. And so I guess the point that I'm trying to make with this is that, like, first of all, we should make it. It should be our duty. We should make it our duty to overcome whatever it is that is holding us back in any way, be it big, be it small. It doesn't matter. Like that is our duty, because it is only by doing that we grow as human beings. You know what I mean? And we become and we sort of break out of our shells, the things that are holding us back and keeping us in this shell. It is only by overcoming them and facing them that we get to break out of that shell. And then, but at that point, then the new shell is put on. And so your goal is to continue breaking out of that shell and breaking it and overcoming whatever obstacles are put in front of you, whatever fears that may be in front of you, anxieties that may be in front of you. And so that's life essentially. And second of all, I feel like the way in which to do that is to expose ourselves to whatever the anxiety may be, whatever the fear may be. Expose ourselves to that anxiety or to that fear in small increments. And first of all, you want to find out what the least version of that fear may be. So I'll use like speaking up, for example. Um, if you're someone who's scared to speak up, or someone who gets anxious before they say something, or expressing their emotions or whatever it may be, then obviously going into a group and telling them exactly how you feel and telling them being assertive is not something that's realistic, right? So a place that you could start, for example, would be finding someone who you are comfortable with, someone who you're already comfortable in engaging with, like a close friend, maybe a family member, and and expressing your feelings in the lightest way. If they say something, you say, no, I don't like that. And you don't even have to give an explanation. Just say, no, you don't like that. And by doing that consistently, and you get to the point where you're used to it, and then you're comfortable doing that. And then if you want, you can add a minor explanation. Say, I don't like the sound of that because of this and this reason. And then you do that until you're used to that. And then when you become used to that, then you get to the point where you tell them exactly how you feel and exactly why you feel that way, and then you do that until you're comfortable with it. And then you can add another person into that, someone who you are slightly less who you are slightly less comfortable with, and then from there you sort of get the gist of where I'm going. You know what I mean? And as you become more comfortable with it, it may take you years. You know what I mean? But you remember that it's taken you years. You've conditioned yourself for years to get to the point of where you are now. You know what I mean? So realistically, you should expect that it may take you just the exact same amount of time that it's taking you to get to this point to get out of this point, right? Although that's not the case. Our brains are malleable, and our brains are very, very flexible, and they adapt very, very quickly. And so it will take you a lot longer to get out of this stage, but you got to remember that it's taking you this long to get to this stage, and you've conditioned yourself for this long. And so don't expect it to happen overnight, but expect it to happen. And so and stay consistent at it as well. Whatever your fears may be, like that's something I'm fucking so big on this. Like whatever fears we have to overcome them. Have to overcome them. That's how we become the best versions of ourselves. That's how we become good people. You know what I mean? That's how we become the best people that we could possibly be. Because I feel like that's all life is ever about. It's not impressing anyone else. It's not being a kind person to other people. It's being as kind as we possibly can to ourselves. Being the best version we possibly can be to ourselves and for ourselves. And it is through that we attain happiness, and that we attain um, all the things in life that we want, right? And so on that note, tapping out, you know the drill.